Hello and welcome to our first debate about some of the important topics of our times.
The topic for this debate will be what is the biggest problem in our era? We are united today and each one of us is an expert in a certain problem.
Well, my topic is about refugees in the world. Some numbers are that 7.5 million people are refugees, and most of the half of this number is in the Middle East. Also, in the country I am living, Mexico, we have a lot of refugees. Since the year 40s, and we have a lot of refugees. Like the World War II, Mexico accepts a lot of refugees. Also in the war that have Spain, Mexico accepts a lot of refugees. Some of our most important refugees nowadays is the ex-president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, but nowadays is living here in Mexico as a refugee.
And what do you think this is one of the biggest problems of our world?
Well, that's a very good question. I think that this is the biggest topic about our times because the refugees that are all in the world, like the war and the extreme migration that we are living, we have to attend and attack this problem.
Well, in my case, my problem was immigration. Well, since the 80s, the problem and the phenomenon of the immigration in Latin America and in America in general has been increasing since the people want to search a better quality of life. For example, we have countries like Mexico and El Salvador that the poor people who have many problems in their countries have to leave their own countries and search a better life in United States or in Spain. The main reason of this increasing volume of immigration is also the bad services in their country, the violations of their own police services, because they don't have the main purpose to be in a searching volume of life.
And why do you think that immigration is one of the most important problems in our city?
Well, I could say that this problem in Latin America is really heavy because we're talking about a really big country that involves all kind of countries like Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Venezuela, and this will explain why the people choose a better life in another country and why they don't spend their own time in his own country. This explains why they cannot be in a better quality of life.
Well, I'm going to talk about the biggest problem, at least what I consider the biggest problem of our era, the wars that are happening in the 21st century. Since the terrorist attack of the Twin Towers in New York in 2001, there have been multiple wars, so-called wars against the terrorists, and this brings a lot of problems, especially in the Middle East section of the world, because the countries like United States, like Russia, like United Kingdom have worked and sent their military forces to attack many times civil populations, and this causes great deal of damage to their countries, to their cultural history, to the resources, and this brings a lot of problematics in itself. So I think that if we can finish the war in the 21st century, we can finish a lot of problems in the process.
And what's your opinion about this topic?
Well, I think that the wars that are happening right now in the 21st century are some of the biggest problems that our generations and future generations will have trouble with. This is because a war is not a simple problem. This brings another problems that affect people, like the contamination of resources, the death of millions, even billions of people, and also a loss in the cultural impact of the region that is having the war.
Well, my problem is the poverty in Mexico. Poverty in Mexico deals with the incidence of relative poverty and its measurement. It is measured based on social development, lost in the country and other parameters such as nutrition, clean water, shelter, education, services, healthcare, and social security.
Well, which is the main reason why you consider this is the biggest problem of the other 5?
Well, I think that poverty in Mexico is really important because, listen to this, Mexico's government estimates that 33% of Mexico's population lives in moderate poverty and 9% lives in extreme poverty, which leads to 42% of Mexico's total population living below the national poverty line.
Hunger has peaked over its limits in the last 3 years. 10 years ago was thought that hunger levels had hit its critical points, but they were wrong, because nowadays those levels are believed to go even lower. That is what the UN says. Adjustments have to be made so we don't reach those worrying levels. If we work hard from today, in 2030 the hungry will be eradicated. South Sudan, Nigeria, Somalia, and Yemen are the most affected ones. The things that we need to work on the most are war, climate change, and political instability.
So, Jasmine, why do you consider that world hunger is really a big problem as mine?
Well, if you see, poverty and hunger around the world are related to. Because if the people don't have money to pay the food, people will die because they don't have the necessary things to live. I mean, if you see, that's the biggest problem, that poverty in Mexico.
If we want to assure a good world for our future generations, we have to stop thinking about ourselves and start thinking like a whole world. Thank you, and see you in the next debate.